All right. Good evening. Let's do a quick check. How's the audio? Everything good? Um, what's up, Fibonacci? Hope you're doing well, man. Oh, good. All right, great. What's up, Dave? Hope you're doing well, bro. Let's give it a minute. And then we're kicking it off. Nice short-term low, though. What's this? God damn. Nice, cute 50 mil right here at the low. 100 mil there. All right, all right. All right. This is gonna be the key level to reclaim 94.7, 94.7-ish. For a reclaim back within the recent 3-day composite. And if we can't reclaim it, then it's over, but clean sweep of the lows there. Reset chart view. All right. What's up, Capital? Doing well, man. How are you doing? Are we buying or what? Honestly, I've been mainly shorting this, to be honest. Like, been shorting this since since last week. Since the last stream. But I think, if there's gonna be a short-term low, like the confirmation is acceptance back within this composite. Right there. Because there was a cute little 50 mil there at the low. Super clean trade. Right here. This absorption right there. At least for let's see, where's VWAP? At least for a reversion back into here, right? Like, this is just such a typical trade right there. For rotation back into the highs. Nice. Nice. Yearning for some guidance in these uncertain times. I mean, we're gonna make things crystal clear for you guys. We're gonna make it crystal clear because it's gonna be super easy. Let me tweet about this that we're going live. And then we kick it off. So let's see. Quote live now. All right. What's up, Moon Man? What's up, Mowgli? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. People are short on bits, yeah. And we can already see the interaction here, right? Like, we saw a decent interaction there. From that initial low here. Let me just crunch this up. So we saw a nice puke of the low there, right? This is your typical mousetrap setup, right? We formed the initial low. We've got pending stop orders there. We've got breaker traders luring, that low. They'll try to break down short this. We can see it, but a huge increase right there, right? Look at that sell delta there, exactly at the lows. We close above the cluster here, close above the previous low. This is a good scalp back. Is this going to be a home run trade? No, it's just going to be a scalp back into the recent 3D composite, right? And we can see this is why we're rejecting there. Because it's the value area low from the past 3 days, right? So just quick ins and outs. Everybody get short right there, super bearish. Oh no, we're not. Rotating back into the value area low. Trade done. Please no farts. I can't promise you that, bro. I can't promise. But I haven't had Chinese though, so you missed the short Ethereum at 32.9. It wasn't behind the screen. Shit happens, man. Shit happens. We got a good batch of people with us, so let's break things down. First things first, right? This stream is sponsored by Bybit. Now, I've made a deal with them, so if you are trading on Bybit as well and you are within the VIP program, so what I'll do is anyone from FIP3 and more is getting back 50% on their trading fees, and that's huge, right? Nobody else does that. So how we're doing that is if you sign up on my referral link and you have FIP3, 4, 5, whatever, I'm sending back 50% of your trading fees every month, all right? And that's, for those of you who are trading in these tiers, know that that's a lot of money. So if you are interested in that, you can either drop me a DM or, sign up on the referral link and reach out to me on Discord so we can kick things off. But Besides that, right, let's take a look at the charts. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how I'm breaking things down based on VWAP, TPO, order flow, and, to see what type of trades we can look forward to heading into next week. In the previous week, do I need to say more, right? Last week, I said if this is going to be a low and we reclaim the previous week value high, I'm looking for longs for a move back into the equal highs. And then we had that 3-week value low right there for a short. Back into the lows, confirmation is acceptance back below 101s, right, for another short back into these lows. And now let's go look at the chart to see what happened, right? So this is the chart we had. This is where we stream, right? This part right there. Let's go rid of the cross real quick. So we went down, accepted back above that previous week value high, went straight up towards the highs into the 3-week value low. How could you short at this? Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. So right here, what was the opposing candle that led to a sweep of these highs? This down close candle, right? Short there, invalidation above the high. And you can just write this down, right? Similar right here, right? We take out a bunch of highs. We close below the opposing candle. We get short. Same story here, right? We try to accept above previous week VWAP. Cannot hold the support. What do? Break down, high volume rejection bar. You get short for another move lower. So honestly, like, I've seen a lot of posts about people telling like, oh, it's so difficult to trade. I think it's mainly because, they're lacking a system where they can define a bias based on, whatever system they're using. But that's why I think it's so super important to do these preps, because that way we can prepare for the week ahead and know exactly what we want to be trading. So that being said, let's take a look at what we currently have to see if we can get something similar going on for this week. And I'm going to be starting off with the date. Now today it is the 16th of November. Tick size for my TPO remains 65. Impact for news events. We need to be starting paying attention again because, they're open. So we've got FOMC Waller speaking at 8:30 p.m. Is that something that I think is going to be super important? Nah, not really. I think it will be in the charts anyway. But if we can expect a news-driven events, probably going to be around that time. And then we've got like a bunch of news events heading into next week. So definitely going to be an interesting week ahead. So FOMC Waller, 8:35 p.m. UTC. We've got FOMC right there. Right there. 8:35 p.m. UTC. 80K by the end of the week. I mean, I hope so, right? I hope so. I think it will be good for my shorts, but we'll see what happens. Let's take a look at the recent developments in terms of longer term VWAPs. And I'm going to be starting with the yearly. Then we're talking about the quarterly, right? Quarterly, monthly, weekly, and so on. So let's take a look at the charts. We can remove these like that. VWAP, yearly. Now, right? Been saying this time and time again. Let me get rid of this crosshair here as well. If we zoom in, previous streams, we were outlining the change between these interactions with developing year value and then this prolonged consolidation at developing year value. And I said, you know what? Starting to look like Bitcoin is unable to break away from value. We got the shift below. We got the move back into yearly VWAP. And this is where I said it's either going to be the low right here because it's confluent with the yearly rolling VWAP, right? So this is the level that you want to see hold of support. Bar step in and push this back above the quarter 2 value area high ASAP. We didn't get it. We auctioned back up from the yearly VWAP. Then we formed this high, which is at the quarter 2 value area high. I will show you that in a bit. And then what happened? We have acceptance below VWAP. So should we be stubborn here and try to look for longs with every swing failure pattern of the low and hope that we're getting a home run trade higher? No, I don't think that that's the case. I think as long as Bitcoin is, really trading below that yearly VWAP here, it's going to be rough for the markets because even if we were to do this, like it's a good opportunity to capture this upside from 94s back into 100K. But trust me that this is going to be a super important level to reclaim. And if we're not able to reclaim this, we're going to go lower and we're going to go towards 88K, right? And then if that doesn't hold, we're going to go towards 80K. And if that doesn't hold, well, we can continue to go on, right? So that's basically what I'm looking for. Now, yearly right now is looking bearish. I will shift that when we can get a clean smash back above 100K. If we do that, I think the low is in and we're going to go back towards 112 at least. Then if we trade above these highs, we're getting new all-time high, but I doubt that we're getting that, okay? So let's just trade with what we currently have in front of us and then see it from week to week. Now, I talked about the quarter two value. So that's what I want to talk about right now and what I want to show you guys. So this is the yearly rolling VWAP. It was confluent with that yearly VWAP. That was this consolidation. At that point, I said, well, this is where we need to see bars stepping in. I even tweeted about this. This low, catching this low wasn't hard, right? It's not hard. Everybody was watching the yearly rolling VWAP at that point, which is why it made me a bit skeptical as well. Like, hey, you know, if everybody's like, oh, we got the yearly rolling VWAP there, let's go long, right? It's usually not a good case where we actually hold up, ending up holding the low. So what we then got was, we got the relief, and then we formed that lower high. Remember the tweet? 108, 107, right? That was the tricky part. Are we forming a lower high here before more downside, or is this getting acceptance back above for continuation higher? We weren't able to accept above here. That was bearish, right? Then we got some intra-week moves to confirm that there was a bearish shift in condition. I will show you that in a bit. But now that we're trading below the 365 day, right? We're trading below the quarter two VWAP here. I think short term, things aren't looking as good. That changes when we come back above here. At that point, I think we're going to be retesting the 365 day. But until then, 96K will be a short-term bearish line in the sand, right? Moving forward. If we're taking a look here at the monthly, right here, we can see that we've got monthly developing value, monthly developing VWAP, developing value area low, developing value area high. We were rotational within value. Weren't able to accept above. Then got the auction back lower. Resistance at VWAP. Value low, VWAP, imbalance down. So going forward, I think if we're getting some sort of upside, the developing month value low will probably cap it. Now, ideally, this goes paired with a previous value in terms of, I don't know, previous quarter, previous year, or maybe even a short-term composite from somewhere down here, because I don't really like to trade developing value on its own. But still, this is going to be a sticky point going forward, okay? But the monthly isn't looking too hot either. Moving forward, right there, we can see that we have the weekly. Look, oh, nice. It's looking good. I should have longed this, to be honest, right here. And then this is where I would have closed out the entire trade, to be honest. Like from this low right here, the absorption at the low, back into VWAP. Because this is a deviation, standard deviation 2 from the mean. We took out a previous low, huge increase in sell delta there. Reclaimed it, and now we're back at the mean, right? So now your edge is basically gone. This was a deviation from value. Now we're back at fair value. So super clean rotation. Very nice that we caught that on stream. I didn't trade it though, but the low was really nice to see. All right, getting back. So heading into next week, we've got the weekly. Let me just show you previous week value from last week. Let me get this back on the bigger screen, because this is previous week value. And it shows you the importance, because we accepted below previous week value high there, and we weren't able to accept above, right? Resistance. Where do we target? We target VWAP. Then if we can't break below VWAP, what do we target? Value area high. Then if we reject, what do we target? Value area low. So you can see how clean the previous week values are. And now that we're trading below, like this was that trend shift where we go from rotational towards imbalance down. That's bearish, right? So that being said, now that we have an upcoming previous week value, we can basically trade it in a similar way, where tomorrow this will look like that, where this previous week value is getting extended towards the right side, previous week VWAP is extended, and previous week value area high. Acceptance back within means that we can expect a rotation higher, maybe into 100K, right? Which is then confluent with that yearly run. Let me see. Do I have the rolling VWAPs here? Yes, I have. Right there. All right. The yearly rolling VWAP right there. So if we can accept back within previous week value tomorrow, something like that, try to break back below, structure break towards the upside, I think we're you know, pretty on point for a move back into yearly rolling VWAP. And at that point, we'll have to see, are we getting acceptance back above to squeeze this higher into these highs, or is this going to be another lower high and we start to trade lower, right? So we've got lots to talk about in today's review. So before I get ahead of myself with covering too much. Let's first write everything down here. So the yearly is accepting below developing year VWAP. Then we have the quarterly, that is rotational within quarter two value. Then we have the monthly, imbalance down, developing month value low, likely dynamic, whoops, I can't type today, dynamic resistance. And then we've got the weekly, upcoming previous week value will play pivotal role heading into next week. Previous week VWAP confluent with 365-day rolling VWAP. All right, let me catch up on the chat real quick. Is ICT on the chat tonight, bro? Like, you know, I'll respect him. He's just, you can say whatever you want, but he's just good at marketing, bro. Because the entire timeline is talking about him, and he's getting exactly what he needs. End of year, what's the VWAP from last year? The VWAP from last year is low. It's at 65k, so that would be bad. That would be bad. But I mean, acceptance below previous year value, that's probably what we're getting, to be honest. So yeah, I went long. Can you tell me wait and 5? MSBR, we take long based on footprint. So in this case, for this particular setup, like this is when we started off the stream, I said this, right? Well, we just swept range low, not just this low, but we swept the key low here. And whilst doing so, look, like that's an insane increase in volume right there. Insane increase. So the trigger for me is then when we can get acceptance back above here, or essentially above the majority of the sell volume here, right? That's a good trade for me. Invalidation below the low. And I'll target the 3-day composite value low here. And VWAP, where I would be 100% out of the trade. Just a scalp for Sunday. I'm not going to be back holding shit leading up into next week. Just a quick trade here. Now, in terms of short term, let's see if we get like some lower time frame structure shifts. So these were the lows. This red line was range low. We got the sweep there. What was the opposing candle leading up to the sweep? This close right there. Whoops. This candle close. So you could have longed this invalidation below low, but would have been worth it? I don't know. On a Sunday, we're probably going to go towards these equal highs here, but like that is what I would, pay attention to. But not super clean in my opinion compared to order flow at that point. Right? All right. So rolling VWAP. Let's take a quick peek. Let's get the indicators going. Rolling VWAPs. Let's get rid of all of the drawings. So, and this is the thing that I want to show you guys. Like, this is why I think we should be paying very close attention to this line. Because if we go towards a 3-day chart, reset chart view, this is the yearly rolling VWAP. Short-term things are looking good right now, right? Lower time frame where you're like, oh, we swept the low. We're bullish. But don't neglect this, right? We're getting a daily like a 3-day close. We got a 3-day close below the yearly rolling VWAP. We weren't able to do so here. Weren't able to do so there. Weren't able to do so there. And then if we go back in time here, same story, right? So it's either going to be this, where we deviate below and then get a close above, at which, that's basically the confirmation I think we go higher, or it's the start of this, where we're getting a consolidation here. We try to break above the yearly rolling VWAP, and then it's a year-long bear market. So if we go back towards where we currently are, we're either going to be closing back above here, at which I think the low is in, and we go towards at least this high, and then we'll see how high we can go into quarter 4. Or we get a range, we break down, we try to break above that range, and then we get slow bleed for year-long. That is why I think it doesn't really matter. Like if you're playing spot, I saw one of you guys ask like, when are we getting spot trades or whatever? Like it's just base it on this, right? It's been treating us really well this entire year. Bought spot, buying spot, right? And then this case, it didn't work out. So maybe we took an L right here, right? We didn't because we had a bearish bias, but let's say you took an L right there. Now you focus on getting that reclaim to get involved again, right? Or if not, you want to get the fuck out because at that point we're probably going way lower. Or at least it's not, you know, you can just start, you can short the fuck out of this on perps. But if you want to play spot, then, you know what I'm getting at. Let's see. Let's go over the question. I have a question about Link yesterday. Oh, I'll take a look at that at the end of the stream, bro. No shit coins in between. How do you define acceptance in this context? Candle close. No, it's not necessarily a candle close. I define acceptance by looking at the time and space in between a retest. So I need to at least see a gap. So maybe if this would have traded back up towards the highs, this is already acceptance to me. But, you know, on the yearly time frame, I suggest you stick towards the daily or 3-day, and you need to have like a nice gap, right? Doesn't have a gap here. We don't have a gap here, right? You see how there's a lack of a gap here. So this candle is not defined as acceptance below because there's no time and space. Do you see that? Right here, no time and space, no time and space, no time and space right there. Now this, right? Let's say that we get a couple of days here. We're getting a gap. So that is genuine acceptance to me. All right? Overall, regardless of local froth, they overcrowded trade according to open interest and funding rates being long. Yeah, I mean, for me, like, it pays to be, you know, just focusing on my system. Like, I tend to dumb things down. Like, I'm a simple guy, man. I'm just a monkey. I can do one trick, and that's, look, you know, building a narrative based on VWAP, getting long based on structures or order flow, and I'll just stick in my lane. I'll stay in my lane. Like, I'm aware, for example, of these news-driven events, but I'm not going to be pretending that I know what the fuck non-farm employment change, like what exactly has to be occurring for the market to go up or down. I don't care. It will be in the charts anyways. But I just know that based on this time, volatility will be in the markets, right? That's it. All right. So moving forward, rolling VWAP 7-day. That is what I do want to point that out. So let's get the drawings back in. Rolling VWAP 1, 2, 3. Let's get everything in here. Hourly chart. So the 7-day rolling VWAP is confluent with the yearly rolling VWAP, and those are both confluent. Oh wait, the 7 days confluent with the yearly rolling VWAP, and that's confluent with the yearly. Okay. So confluent with 365-day rolling VWAP. The 30-day, I'm not using this because it's too far away. Same for the 90-day. And then we've got the 365-day trading at 100K. Big figure. This is our bearish line in the sand. High time frame. Okay. High time frame. Are we all good so far? Long-term VWAP, rolling VWAP. Any questions? Do you think bulls give a fight for the weekly close? I don't know, honestly, and it's not something that I could really care about. Let them, you know, I hate speculating, to be honest. I'll just straight what's on the charts. Like, the problem was last week as well. Like, I see this, I don't know why, but for some reason, this cycle, people tend to over speculate. Why are we going down? Why are we going up? Who gives a shit, right? We're going down because we're not able to accept above the quarter two value. I don't care if it's because of Trump or because of, you know, who knows who. It's just that, you know, the chart is telling me, yo, we're trying to break above these highs. We've got a market structure shift there, right? This is enough for me to get short. I don't have to know why. I just know that, okay, this is bearish from a high time frame perspective. Same story here. You know, we were trading below the yearly rolling VWAP, and for some reason people were like, oh, Trump is tweeting about, oh, I thought it was here. I think it's here. Maybe the tweet about Trump getting the 2K stimmy for people, right? All I'm seeing is, oh shit, high volume rejection at the previous week VWAP. We closed below the point of control, right? That red line. I'm shorting this. Stop above the high because I know previous week is a contextual level for me. We've got clean lows there. The overall bias is down as we've covered within that stream last week. So I'm just shorting this. I don't need to know why, right? That's why I think a lot of people can get offside because they tend to overcomplicate things. Just don't do that. Stick to your system and don't focus too much on news, right? It's all baked in anyways. Do crosses matter and rolling VWAPs? I think if you want to focus on crosses, focus on the 90 and the 30-day crossing. But that's a bit of a lagging system, to be honest. Similar to the def cross on the moving average. You know, you should have been short already from up here, right? You should have shorted this, and now we got the def cross. So it's lagging. So not really useful in my opinion. All right, moving forward. TPO. So that's everything clear. Moving towards TPO. Right, and this is why maybe we're holding this, the value low here on the recent 3-day composite. I don't care. I think this, if you wanted to trade this, like this is why. Quick in, you get, 70% there maybe, and then the final 30% there. That's it. Sunday done, right? No need to overcomplicate things. This is a good trade. But we don't use that right now. We're going to be using the weekly. Weekly profiles are first off. First things first. So we had a 3-week composite right here. Bitcoin accepted below, expand both. And then we've got this one, expand both right there. So let's get rid of this one. Bitcoin accepted below. Let me get rid of the crosshair. Accepted below this 3-week composite, right? Huge break lower. We found support at this is a 14-week value area high here. I'll show you where that's coming from in a bit, but couldn't break down, formed a nice low there. Then we accepted back above, bar step again, got the rotation higher into value area low. Everybody's super bullish, right? But we're trading at value area low. Couldn't close above. This is where we based our main short on. Then we got the structure shift for short back into the lows. What else do we have on the weekly? Well, we since then accepted back within this 14-week composite with a 14-week value area high there and a 14-week value low there. To me, the value low looks as a potential destination. Should we get another drive lower, I think 93.5 is what you want to be paying attention to. So let me show you, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 weeks of overlapping value. That's a good looking composite right there, right? This one. So that's the composite that we're currently rotating in on a higher time frame basis. This is key support, that's key resistance, okay? So that's what I want to be aware of on the weekly. On the daily, I want to be aware of the current 3-day composite, the upcoming 3-day composite. Now, oh, look at that, another layer of confluence. Let's get rid of the crosshair here. So first things first, we've got a single print there. We've got a naked point of control that I want to be aware of. We are forming a potential 3-day composite, 1, 2, and then this is going to be the 3rd day of overlapping value. Poor highs right there, right? And we just took out this naked value area high here with this previous low. So do you see how this was a good long, right? We had a reason to rebalance the low exactly into that naked value area low. 100 million sell delta at that low, reclaimed it for a move back into this, right? So super clean trade. Anything else that I want to be aware of? No. We also cleaned up a session point of control there. Look, this is what I mean. Look at that. Like, that's some retarded shit, bro. 94 million in sell delta at that low. Super nice. So let's write everything out. Again, rotational within older 14-week value. We have a potential 3-day composite value area with a value area high that is at 96,765. If we get the value area low, that is at 94,735. Make a point of control at 98,948. And then we have 4 highs intraday. And then my nose is itching. We cleaned up the naked value low below range low. All right. That's basically the only thing that I want to be aware of, right? We're rotational within the bigger picture. 14-week value. Potential 3-day composite coming up. We have a naked point of control and poor high. So if this ends up being bullish, right? If we can genuinely... Let me expand this. To me, this is not looking really hot right now, to be honest, right? Look. That's why we're really glad that we took some profits at that VWAP and we're out of the trade again from the low back into the highs. But if this ends up being, you know, trading higher, are we defining this as acceptance? No, right? We need to see at least a gap. So we need to see blocks, 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 blocks. I'm going to be drawing blocks as crosses, right? We need to see this. And then I want to have pink. I want to have this as time and space back with a new composite. At which I'm going to be looking at potential longs here. Why? Because we have a destination, right? And that's going to be the poor high and the naked point of control. But until we get that, it's no trade, right? We had a trade from there to there, and now we're done, okay? Does that make sense right here? Do we still look at a 30-minute chart for weekly and monthly TPO profiles? Yes, always. I don't know how people get, like, are you guys using different time frames for that? You shouldn't. Who is using different time frames for weekly and monthly profiles? Or who is using them on the timeline on Twitter, for example, that's using those different things? Some experts. Okay, interesting. A TPO block is always a 30-minute rotation. Always. Never gonna be a 4-hour chart. Never going to be a 12-hour chart. Whatever, right? 30 minutes for one block, okay? Super important. Singles, weeklies, dailies, right? Composites. The 30 minutes. That's exactly why, if you see me trading, like the execution time frame for me is always on a 30-minute chart. Why is that? It's because this resembles the TPO layout if I expand the profile, right? So I'll see the exact same, you know, time and space feature if I'm looking at a 30-minute time frame. What about hourly? No, don't use an hourly either. 30 minutes. I don't know how you guys, you know, where they're getting that from. One block is a 30-minute rotation. Because I also see some people using 15 minutes or 10 minutes for your TPO settings. It's just giving you incorrect bias. So moving forward, TPO summary. Wait 1 second. How do you know which TPO size? So the TPO size is I have some calculations for it, but essentially, you know, you'll just need to eyeball it. Look, if we're like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna be using a 200 tick size here. This chart is looking rough, right? It's not looking good, in my opinion. The profiles are really small. We've got poor lows, poor highs everywhere. Is not looking good. If I'm going to be saying, okay, you know what? 20 tick size. 20 tick size, the profiles are just like, it's too big. It's too much data. So the lower your tick size, the more data you get within your charts. Generally speaking, for, you know, extra charts TPO, 65 up until 80 is the max. So for example, right now, volatility is dying off during the weekends. I tend to be, you know, you can even do 55, I think. 55 is good as well. So 55, 65, and then, you know, heading into next week, if volatility picks up, you'll set it back towards 85 maybe or something. But as long as it's looking good, as long as you don't have poor highs, poor lows everywhere, right? And that the profiles are looking clean. I think that's the most important part. And the reason being is because a composite value area, like from these 3 days, let's start the merge and let's stop right there. This composite, let me get this like that. Right here. This is not a single line, okay? It's an area where I'm looking for shorts. This is not a single line where I'm looking for longs. It's an area where I'm looking for longs, right? So that 5 tick size difference or the 10 tick size difference isn't gonna mean or change my entire bias, okay? Which naked point of control are you referring from? This one? It's from Friday. So in terms of how I'm using order flow within my execution, I've just went over that, right here. So we had a naked value area low based on TPO. Look, let me just walk you through this trade. First things first. No, I can't show you that on this chart, but when we were trading here, did we have a reason to go lower? Yes, we do, right? Because what was below this low? A naked value area low there. So we had a reason to rebalance that inefficiency. Also, if we go back to our trading view, we can take a look at this chart. We can see equal lows right there, right? So we know if we're front running the low, there's going to be a large amount of pending stop orders. People are trying to break down short this, hoping for a big cascade lower, right? So there's just enough interest down here. Then if we're taking a look at order flow here, let's take a look at this chart. What I need to see is, I need to see an initial low being formed, right? This is your typical mousetrap setup. An initial low forms. We've got that previous range low there as well. People will get long here thinking, you know what, we're going to be front running the low. So there will be stop orders here. There's also going to be stop orders there. And there's going to be alerts from breakout traders that think, okay, if we're going to be trading below the low, what do we get? We get a large increase in participation. Look, 11 mil, 23 million, 9 million, 8 million, 10 million, 44 fucking million, 36 million negative delta, almost 60 million there, right? So within these two bars, we've got 100 million in volume almost. So that's a huge increase compared to the rest of the rotations. And then if we're looking at what is entering the market right here, right? We've got a majority that's being sell delta right there. So then if we can get back above, I think we can actually get 32. Oh, 3.2. Okay, I'm getting blind. But mousetrap, huge increase in sell delta. Reclaim that structure. We get long. Because we are pairing it off with a previous low, it's at the standard deviation 2 from intraday. We take profits at this, the 3-day composite value area low. And then the final take profit was here at VWAP. Because the edge was this. We enter when there's a large deviation from the mean being VWAP, right? This is a standard deviation 2 from VWAP. So this is a very large dislocation from fair value. Then the moment we get back towards VWAP, the edge that we've based our trade idea on this being too far away from what actually is fair value, is now diminished. So no need to hold on for a home run. This is your trade done. Period, right? It's a Sunday. Beautiful rotation. Lock it. Okay? So, again, really simple, right? No fancy CVD divergence, whatever. What's spot doing? What's perp doing? No, just one simple trick. And that's it. I like to keep it simple. Moving forward. Prep. Summary. So, high time frame. Bearish. As long as we trade below 100k, which is big figure, yearly VWAP, and 365-day rolling VWAP. Short-term support around the 14-week value area low, but remains counter trend. Bulls will have to see a reclaim of the yearly VWAP ASAP to avoid a much bigger cascade lower into yearly developing value area low. Last time Bitcoin failed to hold the, don't mind the typos guys, failed to hold the 365-day VWAP. It caused a year-long bear market. So definitely something to be aware of heading into this week. All right. That brings me towards the narrative. Like, what am I looking for intra-week? In my opinion, there's a decent range being built. Decent range forming here between the quarter 2 value area high, confluent with upcoming previous week value area low, and the 14-week value area low. Heading into this week, my main trades will be based around those two pivots. Let me just show you the hypos and the narrative. So this right here was a nice squeeze, right? As we've said, like I like that we're getting exactly this, where this from here to there, and that's done. Do not hope for a home run, right? We could maybe accept back within, but it's good to see that it pays off to just compound those little wins. If we're getting acceptance back within here, we'll look for another trade back into the value area high, right? But so far, based on TPO, this to me is looking like a rejection of value, where initially we form a 3-day composite, we accept below, time and space, try to break back within, we cannot close back above. So that's bearish, right? So if this remains resistance heading into the weekly close and we start to trade lower, what is going to be an objective, right? What are we targeting? At that point, we switch towards the weekly due to the lack of other structures. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe we can form a low down here at 93.2. And that's where I want to focus on. So heading into next week, this is the range that we're trading, right? For now, we've got range high, then we've got range low. Let me get rid of the rolling VWAP real quick. Let's see, do we have a high volume bar here? No. On Coinbase we do. On this breakdown bar though. All right. So where's the yearly rolling VWAP? Let me double check here. So for me, it's gonna be, you know, I'm gonna be honest. Bitcoin is looking cooked. As long as we're trading, let me get rid of the range real quick. It served its purpose already. We're trading below yearly VWAP. We are unable to accept above previous week value low, the upcoming one, right? And the quarter 2 VWAP. That's bearish. Likely destination is going to be the 14-week value area low. You do not want to see acceptance below here because that's going to be causing like a huge flush lower into 88K. I believe yearly open here is here as well, right? Yearly open, 12 months, 93.2. 93.2. All right. See, 93.2. Yeah. So that's yearly open. Look at that. Look at that. It pays off, right? In and out. Just like you do at home. Quick ins and outs. So heading into next week, guys, I would suggest to just wait. If this is going to be the next range from this high towards that low, let's say that we do this, we front run it heading into next week. We form a bit of a range here. Ideally, we front run the low and then we do something like this where we sweep it and then we get a market structure break towards the upside, or we're getting a high volume bar, or we're getting like a large amount of sell delta at the lows like we've went over during the stream. At that point, I'm like, okay, you know what? This is a good long because we're coming from a contextual level. Right now, we're not, right? We're front running the level. And at that point, I'm like, okay, if we can do that, I'm targeting a move back into the highs. Okay. Conversely, the bear case would be if this is the range and then we do this, we front run it like that. And this is range low. Whoops, let me get a straight line. And then we try to break above, but we cannot hold it as support. We take out this high, that poor high intraday. We're back below the quarter 2 VWAP. This is still bearish and we can target a sweep of the lows. Okay. Now, bullish development, like a much cleaner long, would be wait for a move back above the quarter 2 VWAP. So let's say that we do this, spend some time and space, try to break back within, we form a low there, and then we smash back above the highs. At that point, I think you can go with that break from value back into this level right here. But until then, like if I'm looking at the daily chart, this is not looking good. We've got these stack lows here. We've got a single print gap there. So yeah, man, I don't know. It's looking rough. But that's going to be my play. Is that clear for everybody? Like, I think even if we're going to go lower on the weekly, like what we want to be focusing on the week is if this is going to be a bearish week, back into this, for example, you want to focus on the open. So let's say that we open up and then we take out, let me just do it like this. Let's say that we leave lows right here, right? We have a weekly open somewhere here. Then we go up from the open. We take out the high. And then on I don't know, Tuesday or Wednesday, we break back below previous week very low. At that point, I think this is the trend continuation lower, where we take out the highs early on in the week above equal highs. On Tuesday, we get the reversal, and then we get the continuation on Wednesday, Thursday, etc. Okay, so that's basically the bearish development, and the other case would be a sweep of the lows for, you know, just a simple range play here. Is that clear for everybody? In terms of a bullish and a bearish line in the sand, that's something that I always do within my trading. For me, short-term bearish line in the sand is simple. Clearly going to be the previous week value low confluent with the quarter 2 VWAP. Look at the interaction. We are not able to accept above, okay? So that's the short-term bearish line in the sand. Short-term. Longer-term bearish line in the sand. Like, do I even have to say it? It's this guy right here. The yearly rolling VWAP. 100K, big figure. As long as you trade down below this and we're not able to accept above, we're bearish. And we can be bearish for a long time, right? But acceptance back above and we need to shift gears, okay? That's bullish higher time frame. Until then, bearish. Okay? Exactly, it's the final bus. So any questions so far? Or does anybody have any questions regarding the stream that we've just did? Is everything clear in terms of TPO, VWAP, order flow execution, breaking down TPO with the composites? Ethereum, let's take a look. Let's take a quick peek at ETH. Like, Ethereum's looking dog shit as well, bro. It's losing previous year VWAP. It swept range low initially, fell short of range high with Bitcoin weakness, and now we're sweeping this bigger range. So I think for ETH, especially this rejection, holy shit. Like, Ethereum is bearish as long as we're trading below previous year VWAP. If we can reclaim this after taking out this low right now, this is important, okay? This is a key low. So if Ethereum decides, you know what, I'm finally going to do something and I'll be strong, and we can do this right there, I think it's a clear buy for a move back into the previous quarter value low. Until then, I'm not touching it, okay? Let's take a quick peek at VWAP here for ETH. Whoops. Yeah, it's looking rough, man. Look, the yearly. Acceptance back within previous year value, resistance. Rotation towards VWAP. So we need to get a daily close above previous year VWAP. Otherwise, this is making way for a move towards 26, okay? If not, we can start trading higher again. But the yearly is at a key contextual level right now. It's do or die for Ethereum. Then we're looking at the quarterly. The quarter is looking like ass. Trading below previous quarterly value area low. And we're starting to lose the yearly rolling VWAP as support as well. The monthly, look. This is what I meant with Bitcoin. Monthly developing value low is dynamic resistance when we're imbalanced down. Reject it. Continuation. And then the weekly. The weekly is looking bad as well. So, yep. Keeping it simple. So, either accept above or continuation lower. You want me to do an update on useless? That's pretty simple, bro. Look, I tweeted about that. It's the most dog shit coin ever. Fully retraced the 1010 wick. Like, this is you know, this is giving me joy, bro. Like, I love this. If I combine this with the tears that I'm seeing on the timeline, this is just, I love it. I love a bear market, man. Esther. I'm not even gonna be taking a look at all of those shit coins, bro. What template are you referring to, bro? But the VWAP template, or I don't think that we've got enough data for useless for this, to be honest, but The yearly, we don't have enough data on the yearly. The quarterly only have developing, the monthly, and then we've got the weekly. So the weekly is something that we can work with here on useless. Look. And just goes to show you how clean, right? Look. So useless accepted back within this value, right? From previous week. Resistance. And then we went lower. We can actually cover, look, but again, bearish. Again, here, right? Bearish. Continuation lower. Acceptance below previous week value low. This is the line in the sand right here. I think last stream we did Sol, right? Played out really well. Where is it? Where's that shit coin? Did I delete it? I'm blind. I swear I should have been here. Oh, here it is. Why is it there? Get back up. Get back up. All right. So, Sol, right? Do you guys remember this? The quarterly value. Zoom in. I said this right here is this right there. Bearish line in the sand for shorts. GG's. Let's go back to a chart. I think I have the same chart value still. Right here. Oh yeah, here. Here we go. Right. Yeah, let's get rid of that. So we took out the high into the previous quarterly value low. We then closed below opposing candle. That's your short entry. Stop above the high. You know, initial TP there. And then if you got like big balls, you're still holding on to the trade. But just goes to show, doesn't matter. With Bitcoin, altcoins, it all works the same. Where can you get the indicators? I mean, there's a bunch of people offering some variant of the indicator. If you want to have my indicator, like I don't know if you guys know, but I use like I'm running a Discord here, so you can check that out, this website. But you do you, man. Can you have a view? All right. No, I'm not gonna be doing CRV and all the other dog shit coins, bro. I think for the Bitcoin, like for spot bags, like what what you really want to see, you know, it's just like this, right? For Bitcoin, I just genuinely, for me, it's simple, man. Like, and I hate it as well, but it's just looking rough out there. If we remove all of the noise, then this is the level that you need to see reclaimed. And if not, then this definitely might be the start. We might as well just get this consolidation and break back above, or consolidation, retest, continuation lower, right? But this is gonna be the important pivot. A previous year standard deviation 2 is a good pivot as well. Look, if we go towards I think this is the yearly previous year standard deviation 2 right here. It's kind of confluent with the upcoming previous week value area low. So yeah, you could definitely take that into the consideration. Do you want to take a look at USDT dominance on what? VWAP? I don't know how to read this, so this is your part. I'm just showing you right now. Yeah, there's a lot of people that try and copy this stuff, but it's funny because there's certain calculations and weighings within the indicator. They won't guess it anyway, so. I had a look in those channels. by typing my own name in there. And the amount of people that are trying to copy is insane. I mean, it's part of flattery, to be honest. And I get it. But, you know, it is what it is. Hype. We can take a quick peek at hype, bro. Okay, so let's break it down. So we're starting on the yearly value. Hype isn't able to accept back above yearly value, right? We've got a bunch of clean lows here. For me, the fact that it wasn't able to accept back above developing year value, that's weak. If we can reclaim 44, that's bullish in my opinion. At which I think we're gonna go towards the highs, right? That's like gonna be a good trigger for me. But until then, I think we're likely to break lower, potentially into that yearly VWAP right here. Like 32 is definitely gonna be an important pivot for me. But besides that, I don't really have anything on yearly value. Now, if we're taking a look here at the, I didn't have Chinese. I made biryani myself, bro. I made biryani, and that shit was it slapped. Got the recipe from Hawk, man, within the Discord, like insanely good. Yeah, man, it was insanely good. So on the quarterly, hype is pinched between previous quarterly value low and the quarter two value high. No real trigger for me either, based on that. And then on the monthly is a bit cleaner, where this is rotational within the lower bands of previous month value, right? You can see that. The interactions are way cleaner. And then on the weekly here, failed to break above previous week value, right there, back within value area low. So let's go take a look at the regular chart for hype. I think I got some lines from the prep that we did with the Discord on Friday, right? Right here. This is the range that we're looking at. Honestly, if I am looking at this chart, it's like there are times for me where I'm like, yeah, this is the trade. For me right now, considering that hype just took out this high and it's back below quarter two value area high, right, with a structure shift here on the H2, it's hard for me to be super bullish. And I think we could even be, you know, gunning for this low. Ultimately, higher time frame or you know, longer term, I think hype is gonna do extremely well. But you know, the area where I would love to be a buyer, and I'm not sure if I'm getting it, but where I think it's gonna be a good buy is around yearly VWAP, because that's also confluent with the quarter two VWAP around 30ish. I don't think that we're getting a wick fill like we had on October 10. So I need to see this hold of support, but it's too early for me to really think, okay, how we're gonna be doing this. I'm not gonna be doing this on perps. For me, hype is the longer term play, so I'll be loading up on spot, and that's either gonna be above the developing year value for the confirmation play, or around VWAP. I made chicken biryani because last time I did lamb, and I wanted to see which one is better, but I actually prefer lamb biryani. I made my own naan bread as well with the kids. It was fire, man. Really enjoyed it. Two streams in a row that I watched where bro burped like he's Godzilla destroying Tokyo. It's I can't help it, bro. Do Aster. Really? Let me take a look. Aster. Ass. Where it is. Here it is. Okay. It's holding up strong, to be honest. Previous month VWAP, previous month very low. All right. Okay. So on the yearly, we don't have anything. Okay. We don't have enough data to work with. Quarterly as well. On the monthly, we actually have previous month value. Do we? Yeah, we do. So considering the lack of other time frames, and the weekly is not something that I really tend to look at when looking at altcoins, I'm going to be focusing on the monthly here. So let's make a chart. Let's make a chart. On the monthly, let's take a look. Developing quarter. No, I want to have the previous month. Let's fill it up. Previous month. Oops, that's a bit too. Give me a sec. Coordinates, no text. previous month. And this is the value area low, like that. All right. And then we have previous month VWAP there. Previous month VWAP. So those are the two main points that I want to focus on. In terms of rolling VWAP, what do we have? We're back above the 30-ish. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's start with the charts. All right. Range low there. H12. We took out the low right here. Took out this low. And then we had the shift here. Right. I'm only doing this because I have a lack of other structures. So what I'd be focusing on, I think if this is genuinely bullish, what you need to see is we need to see previous month value low hold support. So we can do whatever we want on the H12. Let's get rid of these. Let's just focus on the daily, to be honest. The daily. Right here. So we need to maintain this as support after taking out that low. And I think at that point, the target is going to be previous month VWAP. Acceptance above, and we could target previous month value area high. Let's go towards an hourly for the most precise calculation. Previous month value area high, like that. 12-hour chart. Reset chart view. All right. So this is basically what I'd be looking at. Hold this as support for continuation higher. Acceptance above for continuation higher there, right? And then failure to do so, you know, I think it's that at that point. Let's see. Anyway, you accept? Yeah, man, I do accept crypto payments. You just need to hit me up on Twitter or on Discord. You can open up a ticket on the website. Same value, because we don't have that option on the website. XRP, it goes against everything within my body, bro. But I'll do it. I'll do it. XRP. XRP. I haven't touched this in ages. All right. Reset chart view. Reset chart view. Okay. So XRP is a developing year value area low. If buyers are stepping in, it should be here. Why is that? Because if we're taking a look at, I don't know why I did that. But if we're taking a look at where we are in regards to quarterly, we're also trading at a quarterly VWAP. So if this ends up being support, I expect this to be a good rotation higher into the yearly rolling VWAP around 2.3-ish. But monthly is looking like ass, also around 2.3. And then the weekly is something that I'm not going to be using for this chart. So, you know, I'm not going to be charting this entirely. We can do an altcoin. So do you guys want me to do an altcoin stream later on in the week? I think that's easier. Let me know in the chat. Altcoin stream, yay or nay? Before I start spamming altcoin charts throughout the stream. All right, we can do one then. All season. Which stocks would you like me to look at, Lucifer? Well, how's the SNNQ looking, by the way? Damn. Nvidia or Do more higher time frame view. Bro, I just did that. All right, we're gonna do like a mixed stream next week somewhere, or this week, later on this week. Because I'm seeing Uber, I'm seeing stocks, I'm seeing altcoins. It's gotta be a bear market, bro. Sec. Well, it's looking good. Previous, oh my gosh, look, super clean. Okay, so Zcash had its first pullback on the year, right? Back into developing year value. Support on the higher time frame. Okay, this is higher time. We're going from yearly towards the weekly. So we had a huge push away, return back towards value, yearly developing value high. So we knew this was going to be a good area to look for potential longs. Let's take a look at the quarterly. Quarterly developing value, upper half here as well. Then we're looking at the monthly. The monthly saw acceptance back within developing month value. Developing month value low confluent with the yearly and the quarterly. And then the weekly as your execution time frame here. So let's bring everything towards a regular chart. I think I do have some. Do I have some values left on this chart? No. No, nothing. All right. Rolling VWAP, 30-day as well. And then we go towards the yearly developing. No, let's not use the yearly because it's too far up right now. The quarterly either. Show me the weekly. All right. So oftentimes when these coins go absolutely hammered, previous week value low. Previous week value is as best as it can get, right? Because it gives you the most relevant previous week VWAP. Pivots with the most recent data points, previous week value high. And then from a trending perspective, we take a look at VWAP, right? Especially the 30-day. So let's take a look. 12-hour chart. 30-day has been really clean. So, you know, as we can see right there, another retest there at the 30-day rolling VWAP at the previous week value area low. So there was a rolling confluence and a static confluence. These are the best trades there. As for execution, what do we have? Like do we have a sweep on the low there? 30-minute time frame. So we had a low. Let me get rid of this. So we knew that from a higher time frame perspective, we had the yearly developing value area high here, right? Yearly developing value area high. We had the quarterly developing value. Are we using that still? No, it's the first month of the quarter, so we're not using that. We had the monthly developing value area low from the month right here. Then we have previous week value low, and then we've got the 30-day rolling VWAP. So from a trending perspective, everything was screaming, this better be the low or we're doomed, right? So this needs to be the low before continuation higher. We swept this low. What was the opposing candle leading up to the sweep? This is the candle. This is the candle close. So we can get long here with an invalidation below the low. We're targeting, you know, a rotation. Let me see. Flip from this low towards that high. What are we targeting? Fuck me. Like 2.5. Do we have confluence? Yes, we do. 2.5 week or the previous week value area high. So this was the setup right there on this candle close. Do we have at least a 2-hour trade? Yes, we do. Bang, 2.8. Right? And then you can, you know, that's the trade basically. Now, what am I looking for going forward? We're trading above previous week value again, right? Time and space, retest, continuation higher. Where's the current developing week? It's going to be here. So what I'll probably do next week is I'm going to be merging this upcoming previous week and the week before that. I'll show you guys that in Discord on how we're doing that. But then I'm going to be looking at this range right here, range high and range low, for potential continuation or a fade of that move. Right. No need for black. You doing a Black Friday deal? Bro, I need to eat, bro. Like the yearly subscription is 90 is like the yearly plan, look. The yearly plan is 900 a year. That is 75 a month. I'm paying 55% taxes, bro. So you taking a yearly sub nets me 35 fucking euros. So you want me to do a Black Friday sale so I can get 10 for a year? Nah, bro. I need to make biryani, you know? Nah, that's just shit talking. But, you know, honestly, I'm already the cheapest. Like, everybody else is 250 a month. I'm 90. No, I'm 75. And you get, if you get this, you get the order flow course, the market profile course, the indicators. You get basically everything for fucking 75 a month. So I think that should be enough, right? The ideal CTM stream would be Bitcoin, couple of stocks, 1 or 2 turbo shitters, couple of burps, and then we end with the weekly Twitter LARP of the week award. Yeah, that's gonna be good as well. All right. How I'm doing my trade triggers. Well, if you go back, I don't know if you've seen the entire stream. I don't know if you've seen the entire stream, but I went over the order flow triggers from this right here. Oh, it's reloading. I don't know why, but I went over it at the beginning of the stream on Bitcoin. So you can check order flow triggers there. And then we covered multiple structural trades as well. So I would just rewatch the stream, to be honest, because we went over that. I'm using a trading CLI for Hyperliquid. So it's basically me typing chase buy, chase sell, TP there, TP there. It's a bit easier for me because I'm able to use like a fixed stop percentage or risk per trade. So I don't have to calculate my position size because I'm lazy. All right. So that's a wrap, guys. I'm gonna be wrapping it up. We're streaming an hour. And I think we had enough. So first off, thank you all for attending the stream. For the guys in Discord, I will see you guys soon. And for everybody else, I will see you guys next week. If you want to support me, you can subscribe to the channel and put bell notifications on so you don't miss any further streams. And I will catch you guys later on in the week. Take care, guys. Have a fantastic Sunday, and I will see you. Cheers.